Hello everyone, how are you today? I'm coming to you with the 8 pen questions tag that Simone and Liane likes started last year. It's their YouTube anniversary hop, and I participated in this last year and I thought I'd participate again. Big thanks to Simone and Liane likes for starting this. So let's get stuck into it. The first question is, when and how did your fountain pen journey begin? So my fountain pen journey began about 8 or 9 years ago, and I've always been an avid letter writer. Always have, always will be. I don't think that will change. I love writing letters, and at the time I was exploring um, zero waste and minimalism. And I had all these different pens, gel pens, biros, all sorts of different pens, and I looked at them one day and I thought, wow, wouldn't it be just really good just to have one pen that you could just use all the time and it never ever ran out. So that's when I started exploring the idea of just buying one good quality pen and a bottle of ink. And I watched lots of YouTube videos and everything. I thought, this is fantastic. This is my answer. One pen, one bottle of ink that I can use over and over again. How good am I? And we all know how that goes. It doesn't last like that. But my friend Leslie in Texas, her and I used to get together at the library and do letter writing sessions. And Leslie was really into fountain pens and ink, and she would have these 10 pens inked up with all these different inks. And I just used to love seeing her write with every paragraph was a different color generally, and it was just this rainbow of color on her letter writing paper, and it was just beautiful. So and so that's sort of how I got a little bit more intrigued with it. For a lot of years, I'd say probably a good 2 or 3 years, I only had a handful of pens and maybe a handful of bottle inks. That was it, and I was quite happy with that. I didn't sort of rush out and buy everything. I gradually sort of accumulated things over time, which allowed me to explore the hobby, but also explore how those pens wrote and really get to know them, how to clean them, how to troubleshoot certain things. So I'm glad that I started slowly. Number 2, favorite inks in the beginning. What are your go-to inks now? So my favourite inks in the beginning were dual-toned inks. I was really gravitated to those beautiful, bright, deep colours. And I think my first bottle of ink that I got was the Jayne Emerald of Chivor. And my second bottle of ink, I can't remember whether it was the Kayo no Oto Soft Snow of Ahara or the Palador Shizuku Yamabudo. I can't remember. But they were my first 3 bottles of ink. And I have still got the Emerald of Chivor and the Yamabudo today. They're, of course, they're like, I think they're about a quarter full now, but I have always really, really enjoyed those inks, and the Soft Snow of Aharo has been finished. But yeah, that were my go-to inks in the beginning. And my go-to inks now, ones that I've really fallen in love with are the Teranashi inks, so particularly Opera Rose and Gentle Green. They are some of my favourites. I also really love the Kayo no Oto Kokiro and the Sailor Shikiori Tokuamatsu. They're some of my favourites. Oh, and Robert Oster Toffee. That's another favourite as well. How have your ink and pen tastes changed over time? So, well, we all, heard in the beginning, I thought I could just have one pen, one bottle of ink, and that would be it. That did not last. And my ink tastes have changed greatly over the course of the last 8 or 9 years. Initially, it was those bright dual tone colours. Now I'm really into more subtle shades and seeing that chromatography and shading in inks. As far as pen tastes go, I think initially I was really drawn to extra fine and fine nibs. Now I'm really into more medium and juicy broad nibs. And I think because I enjoy using those lighter coloured inks and seeing that shading in the ink. And the medium and the broad nibs show that up very well. So that has been a bit of a shift. Also last year I really concentrated on selling some of my pens to fund new pens and sort of explore gold nibs a little bit more, and have really enjoyed that process. I am 100% sold on gold nibs now. Are there inks and pens that you have yet to try but would like to? Yes, I think that's always going to be the case. I can't see that changing. I mean, they're always bringing out new inks, and although I don't run out and buy everything, there are some that I'm really drawn to, and I try and buy a sample of it first before buying a whole bottle of it to make sure that I really like it. And as far as pens go, I think last year I put down that I really wanted to try an Opus 88 pen because I hadn't tried one of those, and I've actually got an Opus Coloro on its way to me now. So I'm looking forward to trying that. I kind of have this list, and I've been trying to sort of not buy things on a whim and be spontaneous. I try to really look at my list and what I would really love to try, and sort of purchase things that are from my list, if that makes sense. Another pen that I would really love to try is an Omas, I think it's called, just because I've heard beautiful things about their nibs. And I'd also like to try some different grinds on nibs. We don't actually have a Nibmeister here in Australia. And we only have one pen show in Australia, which is all the way down in Melbourne, which is like so far away from me, it's not funny. And it's usually at the end of November, mid to end November, which is a crazy time of year for our family and our kids. So I can't usually get away to travel down to Melbourne for it, which is disappointing, but maybe one day I'll get there. What is your Holy Grail pen? That hasn't changed from last year. It's still a Radan pen. I would love to have one of those. The Pelican M1000, they do a beautiful Radan pen. They are a limited edition, and I think in Aussie dollars, they end up being over $4,000. So it's a pen that really is a Holy Grail pen. I can't see myself ever buying it. Just because it is so expensive, and I don't think I'd spend that kind of money on myself. But that's why it is a Holy Grail pen, and I'm happy with not purchasing it either, if that makes sense. Just because I feel like spending all that money on a pen, that would be the end of it for me, and I don't want it to be the end of my fountain pen journey. I still want to continue going along and for many years to come. Number 6, how many pens do you currently own? So I have, I believe, 45 pens at this stage, and I use all of them regularly. They are in a regular rotation, and I enjoy each and every one of them for different reasons. Number 7, do you have a limit on pens or inks in your collection? Is it a number? Is it a feeling? When do you know that you have reached your maximum? So I don't have a limit on pens or inks. I do find from time to time, though, if I'm not gravitating to a pen or using it, that I start to think, maybe I should move this on to a new home. So sometimes I sort of either gift it away to someone that I know, or I will sell it. And that helps me fund new purchases for my inks and pens and things like that. But yeah, I don't have a limit, and I don't think, maybe I'll know when I reach that point, but at this point in time, I don't have a limit. Number 8, consequently, what would you do if another pen or ink came along? So I think I would explore that avenue. I'd explore whether it's a color that I think if it's an ink, if it's a color I'm going to use frequently, whether I was able to get a sample of it first, and whether I really enjoyed that sample enough to buy a bottle of the ink. That's usually how I evaluate things. When it comes to pens, I have to really, really love it, I find. These days I'm becoming more particular with what I buy and how I spend my money. And So a lot more thought and consideration goes into it rather than just buying things willy-nilly. And I'm quite happy with that thought process. I'm comfortable with it, I should say. So yes, that's my 8 pen questions. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching this video. So I'm also going to put a link. Yesterday, Manda from Inksplat did her video, so I'm going to put a link to her video in the description box below. And tomorrow we've got Amy from Notes from Past Amy. She's going to do her 8 pen questions. So thank you everyone. Please go and check out Manda from Inksplat and Amy, Notes from Past Amy. And I'm also going to put a link to the 8 pen questions. There's like a YouTube playlist for all of the videos. So I'm going to put a link for that in the description box below as well. So thank you everyone for tuning in and watching. Take care, have a great week, and I'll see you back here next time. Bye.